Welcome to this explainer. I'm so glad you're here because today we're unpacking a massive piece of breaking news out of Nigeria. Bauchi state lawmakers have literally just resubmitted a historic and honestly incredibly ambitious bid. They're pushing to create a brand new subnational entity called Katagum State. Now, this is just a fascinating story. It blends deep historical roots with really high-stakes modern politics, and it matters a lot. Because creating a new state could fundamentally shift how national resources get distributed, it could alter local political stability, and completely reshape economic markets across the whole region. So let's just dive right in and break it all down.
Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to look at 1. The quest for Katagum. 2. Roots of an emirate. 3. The numbers behind the state. 4. Agricultural and economic hub. 5. The constitutional gauntlet. And 6. What happens next? All right, let's get into it.
Section 1. The quest for Katagum. The resubmitted bid.
So what we're looking at here is a renewed, highly coordinated push by the Bauchi State Caucus in the 10th National Assembly. The Katagum bid is formally known as House Bill 2484. But what's absolutely fascinating is the sheer scale of the current restructuring debate going on right now. This bill? It's just one part of a massive wave of applications sitting before the House Committee on Constitution Review. Get this. There are currently proposals to create 31 new states across the Federation. If all of them were somehow magically approved, Nigeria's total would jump from 36 to 67 states. And Katagum sits right smack in the middle of this crowded field as a prime contender. Katagum's case so strong?
What makes, proponents like Representative Malami Awwal argue that they are completely ready for self-governance. His quote kind of hits the nail on the head. We have the manpower, we have the land spread, we have the facilities. Basically, they're leaning heavily on the infrastructure they've already got. And it's really important to note that this isn't just some fringe, isolated faction making these claims. The proposal has serious cross-district backing. We're talking full support from the current Bauchi State Governor, Bala Mohammed, and Senator Abdul Ninji. They are presenting a highly organized, united front.
Moving on to Section 2, Roots of an Emirate. Identity. A historical...
This political unity, it is absolutely not some modern political whim. The identity of this region actually stretches back over 2 centuries. Back in 1807, during the Fulani Jihad, a military strategist named Malam Zaki founded the Katagum Emirate. This was a sophisticated, fortified center of learning and administration way before Nigeria even existed as a nation. Then, by 1916, the administrative capital moved to Azare, which, by the way, remains a massive commercial hub today. Fast forward to 1976, Bauchi State is formed, and it completely envelops Katagum. Almost immediately after, by the 1980s during the Shagari era, the first formal agitations for an independent Katagum State kicked off. So yeah, they have been fighting for this autonomy for over 40 years.
Section 3. Next up, the numbers behind the state. Data as destiny.
Of course, history alone doesn't magically equal the state, right? You've got to look at the hard data to see how this region... And just listen to this number, 1,986,086, nearly 2 million people. And keep in mind, that figure is pulled directly from the 2006 census, strictly for the core local government areas targeted for this new state. When you factor in 2 decades of population growth since that census, this demographic block is massive. It already rivals, and honestly, in some cases completely exceeds, the populations of several existing states in the Nigerian Federation today.
And this vast geography finds that land spread argument we mentioned earlier. What you have here is a highly specialized, interconnected network spanning over 15,000 square kilometers in the northern region alone. You can see how it breaks down. Katagum serves as the commercial heart, Misau specializes in high-yield dry-season farming, Jamare completely dominates in irrigation-based rice production, and Gamawa acts as this huge hub for livestock and cross-border trade. So this isn't just empty space on a map. It's a well-defined geographic network with established administrative headquarters that are already functioning on the ground.
All right, Section 4, Agricultural and Economic Hub. Feeding and educating a new state absolutely has to be economically viable. It can't just be an idea on paper. Because the proposed state sits right on the Hadeja-Jamare River Basin, farmers can utilize advanced tube well irrigation to farm year-round. They are completely independent of seasonal rainfall. In the Jamare local government area, a staggering 80% of their irrigation use is dedicated purely to high-yield rice production. We're not talking about small-scale subsistence farming here. This is massive, commercial-scale agriculture that proponents argue could easily serve as a rock-solid tax and revenue-based government.
But, as we know, a state doesn't just run on agriculture. It runs on human capital. And this area, It's an absolute educational sanctuary. It boasts some real heavy-hitting tertiary institutions. We're talking the Federal University of Health Sciences in Azare, Sadhu Zungar University, multiple colleges of education, and the Abubakar Tatari Ali Polytechnic. The folks pushing for the state rely heavily on this knowledge-based economy to make their case. Basically, they're saying they don't need to look outside for civil servants or professionals because they're literally producing the manpower required to run a modern, sophisticated government right in their own backyard.
Which brings us to Section 5, the constitutional gauntlet, the ultimate legislative boss fight.
Okay, so everything we've looked at so far paints this really compelling picture of a region ready for statehood. But now they face the ultimate legislative boss fight, Section 8 of the 1999 Constitution. This is the notorious legal framework that has halted every single democratic attempt at state creation in Nigeria. It is explicitly designed to be rigorous. It demands broad national consensus, completely removing the option of creating a state simply because it happens to be politically convenient for someone. And this is exactly why Deputy Speaker of the House, Benjamin Kalu, recently warned that scaling these constitutional hurdles is going to be incredibly difficult for any of the 31 proposals currently on the table.
To truly understand just how brutal this gauntlet is, let's look at the 4 distinct hurdles standing in their way. Step 1 requires a 2/3 majority request from local and national representatives of the area. Tough, but doable. Step 2 requires a popular referendum on the ground. Okay, but Step 3? Step 3 is the absolute killer. National concurrence. The proposal must be approved by a simple majority of all 36 states in the Federation through their local assemblies. Think about that for a second. The sheer difficulty of getting states hundreds of miles away to agree on a local restructuring movement, it's wild. And finally, Step 4 requires a final 2/3 resolution in the National Assembly. It is a monumental task, to say the least.
Finally, Section 6, what happens
The legislative
next?
horizon.